Hello and welcome to another Webinar Wednesday. This is Trevor, and today what we're going to be talking about is how to leverage custom reporting through Infusionsoft. And the way we do that is to be able to set up saved searches or reports, and we can either put them on the dashboard or do a few different things with them. So to get started, let's actually take a look at a few different approaches to how we can take advantage of some of this. Now, on any report, you have the option to do this, and if we actually just take a glance here on any of them, for example, we'll just say, email. Let's actually see here. If we take the email status search and you want to see a total number of people who have bounced, for example, you can go ahead and select your hard bounces there. You don't have to enter a date range, and then you'll see a total number here. And then same thing if you're doing a saved search or a saved report. The difference is obviously reports are pertaining to existing reports Infusionsoft has given you. Saved searches are pertaining to if you're pulling up a contact search and you want to enter maybe a certain tag or a certain custom field value or an owner and a certain birth date, things like that. That's more of a custom search. So just to clarify a little bit of the difference. When I'm here, maybe this is my specific report I want, you'll notice that right now I have no results to display. The benefit that we find is we can still click the Save button, and although this still shows 0, this is going to be updated automatically. So anytime anyone gets a hard bounce, for this case, they will populate into my saved search. And if I put the saved search on my dashboard, therefore anytime I'm glancing at that report, it's going to be reflecting what, who is behind that number. If anyone has bounced, it will show them, So I could, for example, I've just clicked the Save button to get this little window to pop up, and then it's just a matter of saving it, and you can call it anything you would like, and I'll just call this Bounced Emails. And then you have the option of who you wish to share it with. You can select certain people or just click share it with everyone. What this does is it allows the other users to select it from their saved searches, or again on the dashboard in the custom statistics widget, they will also be able to have access to this in their drop down on that report. Now, you may have noticed when I clicked the Save button, initially, it pops open a window, and we'll see that again in a few minutes, that says, instead, below the option of who to share it with, it gives you the choice to add it to the user's home page. Now, adding it to the user's home page does not set it up in the specific widget that summarizes the numbers like you might want. What it would do when you click add it to the user's home is it adds it into, if we go over to our dashboard and look at adding a widget, rather than again doing a custom statistics that shows it just summarized, just displaying the number and the name of what is saved, it actually adds on their dashboard something called the saved search or saved report, which displays up to 20 results of any search or report. So that's more of a window into the report. And if you have multiple columns of data, multiple information that is displaying, it's not going to display it all for you in that little window. You'll basically have to scroll to the right and then scroll down, and so just might not be as convenient, to be honest. So anyway, that's why I often, because I prefer the custom statistics in more of a summarized fashion like that, I don't prefer to use the Save Search or Save Report widget specifically for that reason. Now, if we take a glance at an example here, I've created a campaign called Custom Reporting. Now, let's say, for example, that you have an event coming up, that whatever it is, a webinar or a live event or something like that. Again, what I'm about to show you is applicable for most anything, but you'll, I think, get the gist of it through this example. Now, we're inviting a group to register for this event. Then, of course, we're going to email them some sort of invitation. And just to clarify real quick, the invitation to register is a tag called invited to register. Okay, so nothing too fancy there. In the email to register, again, the sequence, all it contains is an email saying please register, and after some period of time you might offer a reminder and then have them actually fill out a form to register for the event. Once they have filled that out, we have the sequence called confirmation details, which, as you'll notice, a common theme here so far is I've got some tags that I'm using to say I want to actually remove the invited to register and apply the registered for event. Okay, so we'll talk about why we're doing this in just a second. Let's just keep going so we get a broader understanding of what's happening first. So again, they've been invited to register. Presumably they've registered. We identified that they registered through that tag. Now let's just say that they bought at the event. And then we have over here a thank you email and a tag that says bought from event. Now you'll notice I didn't remove my registered tag like I removed my invited to register. Now, the reason we might want to set it up where you might think, well, overall I could pull up a report and get the information. Yeah, you sure could. But this will automatically give you the data, and what data it's going to be presenting to you is we'll have a total of how many have been invited to register, and then subtract from that total right here the number who have registered. So again, on your widget, which we'll see in a minute, we'll have a total number on top saying these are the number invited to register that haven't registered, is really what it signifies. Here's the number of those that have registered, and then once the event is occurring, here's the number of those who have registered that actually bought at the event, right? So some great information that you don't have to go digging for when you want to see it. So again, just to recap before we jump screens so it makes sense, again, we have three tags really. Invited to register, we have then a registered tag, and then we have bought from event, okay? There's just three different tags I've simply applied at the different spots in the campaign based on whether they've actually taken the action to register or purchase, okay? So let's go ahead and open it, the contact section here. I'm just going to open it in a new tab so we can refer back to make sure everyone's on the same page, okay? So again, coming to our CRM contacts is where I am. I'm going to go ahead and hit start over so I can get back to my search criteria. And if I scroll down a little bit, we have the tag again, invited to register, okay? So not entering anything else, I'm saying with any of these tags, and I say invited to register. That's the only people I want to start with. I just run a search. Again, obviously, the event's not live. I haven't added anyone, so I've got 0. So I'll go ahead and hit save, because as we talked about before, anytime people actually come through and get the tag, this will auto update itself and obviously display that information for you. So again, I'm clicking everyone. I'm going to go ahead and name this invited to register, and I might maybe, name of event, just to clarify, whatever you want to, if you want to specifically put the name of the event, obviously. Here's what I was talking about before. Add this search to the user home. Again, I don't prefer to do that because it doesn't present it the way I want. So I hit save. Okay, so that's the first of my saved searches. Now I'm going to show you real quick before we go and add more saved searches so you can see what's actually happening. But traditionally speaking, I wouldn't go to the dashboard now. I would create my other 2 saved searches. But just to make sure everyone's aware of what's going on, so we've created one saved search, again, called invited to register. I'm going to add a dashboard widget called custom statistics. Just click add there. And I'm just going to click rename on top just so I can be aware of exactly what this box of data is referring to. So I'm going to say, probably name of event and then stats, something like that, right? Save. And again, I have now, you can choose a specific category if you want. I leave this on count because again, it's going to tell me how many contact records there are in a save search or report. And then I open my last drop down here, which displays for me my save searches I already have. And down here, you'll see right here, invited to register, name of event, right? So I'll just click the save button. And now you'll see right here, name of event, stats, invited to register, 0. It's hyperlinked, as you'll see. So if I click on it, I can get right back to whoever's in that report and obviously run any actions on them I wish to do. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start over. Let's go ahead and just create our last 2 save searches, which were again registered for event and bought from event. Okay, and then let's just see how it comes together. So registered for event, search, save that. And I think this is starting to obviously become clear, but let's just finish it up here. Register for event. And so again, to now create my new save search, hit start over and just rerun whatever search you want. So bought from events, my last one here. Okay. Save one more time. Alrighty, save. And we'll go back to our dashboard. Even if we have an existing box of stats, all we need to do is right here on the bottom right, say add another stat. Again, select from the drop down. We had invited or registered, and then we needed register for event. And instead of save, I'll click save and add, which is indicating you're going to add another saved search. And now I will select bought from event and then hit save, right? So there we go. Total number invited to register, and as you'll notice, I can hover over them, click and hold, and actually reorder them if I wish. So we have total number invited to register, total number subtracted from that have registered, and then how many have registered, not subtracted from this number, but just of these total, how many have bought. And again, all of that will update itself automatically for you as people begin going through this campaign and getting those specific tags. Okay. So again, feel free to let us know if you have any questions by filling out the form below. But that is really one of the easiest and best ways that I've found to go and create custom data, custom searches. Obviously, depending on your specific process, how this is set up, it might not be as simple. There might be other contingencies here. We can obviously look into that, but since there are so many variations, it would be not as beneficial, I think, to specifically talk about it at this time. So one of the other items that I would like to cover is actually a question that we had a user submit. And so their question was, how can I set up a custom report for clients who haven't bought in a certain number of days? Okay, so if you know the number of days between, you know, since the last purchase, if there is, you know, a desired time range, if you want, you know, a week between each mile marker, so to speak, after they haven't bought, that's fine. What I'm about to show you, you can obviously pick and choose whatever time range you want, even if it's a day, you know, a month, whatever it is. Doesn't really change anything. So again, I'm going to open up a campaign here. Let's take a look at what we've got. Again, nothing too fancy. It doesn't need to be very fancy at all. This is actually a loop. And so let's take a look at what we've got. So if we open this up, we have a tag that says just simply haven't bought in X number of days campaign tag. Okay, so it's again just simple enough. Anytime you see it, you'll know what it is. And I'm saying this tag here is applied from the initial purchase via purchase action. So again, to make sure everyone's on the same page with what I'm talking about, under your e-commerce piece, if they're making a purchase, you can come under your actions to just simply on a specific product, or again, if it's on any product, you can select successful purchase action, or just type in the name of your product, select it, actions, and then in this little window that opens up for this specific product when it's purchased, I can say apply remove tag and apply the specific tag referenced, which again was haven't bought in X number of days campaign tag. Okay, so again, long story short, I've got a purchase and they get tagged. Okay, simple enough. Once they get the tag, this campaign obviously starts and it goes into haven't bought timer sequence, which right off the bat, I'm removing that initial tag. And the reason for it is I have to remove it to facilitate the looping. So this is actually the same exact tag. And if I remove the tag from them, it will allow them to get the tag again, the next time they purchase, which will meet this goal to pull them out and meet this goal to put them back in. Okay, so again, same tag. The key is to remove it in here so they can get it reapplied to get the loop to occur. And why is it stopping this sequence? Again, for those of you who've been around for a while, that's obviously really clear, but for those who haven't, this little blue square on the bottom left of the sequence with the white flag in it tells us when a goal is achieved, and the goal it's talking about is always on the right-hand side of the sequence, which is this tag goal. When a goal is achieved, the sequence stops immediately. So again, whenever they get this tag, if they don't already have it, then they will be pulled out and also put back in. So it's going to pull them out and put them back in. So in the sequence, let's see what's happening. I've preferred to do a week between my mile markers, so to speak, of identifying how long it's been since they purchased. So I removed the initial tag. We're assuming they're good to go. They've bought within the last week, so we're fine with that. Again, immediately they go in, get the first tag removed, have a week timer. Then we apply a tag, haven't bought in 7 days, right? So during that time, if they've obviously are waiting on this timer and they get the purchase tag, it's going to stop the timer and stop everything else occurring here and pull them out. So none of the other actions will occur. Now coming back around, the tag again, haven't bought in X number of days is 7 here. Then wait another week, remove the haven't bought in 7 days tag, and this is going to be actually apply haven't bought in 14 days tag. Okay, so again, just waiting a week, removing the previous one, applying the new one. Same thing here. We are removing the 14 days tag, and this should be apply haven't bought in 21 days. So anytime they get pulled out, you'll obviously know exactly how long it's been since they had last purchased. Now we can do one of two things. This is actually based on your preference here. So if you want to keep the tag of haven't bought in X number of days on record for them, if you, feel free to do it as you will, but the approach that I haven't added yet is, obviously we talked about how this is a loop, so at any given time at that moment, you can see how many haven't bought in 7 days, 14, 21 days. But if I want, when the loop occurs, obviously, we might want to remove the previously, put on tags, so they'll start again fresh, right? So we're just removing them all, so our data is only as we're looking at it. It's not, from previous purchases. Now, if we look at our dashboard, I already went ahead and created the saved searches for this, and we have haven't bought in X number of days, custom statistics widget. And again, behind each of these is just simply, I ran a contact search to say, show me the people who have the haven't bought in 7 days tag, and save it. Same thing with 14, same thing with 21. And again, present that on your dashboard. So you can break that down to be per user. If you have different reps and they want to know for their specific clients, the people who are falling off. The same example could be, if you have other, obviously depending on the nature of your business, if people haven't, you know, filled out a form or whatever it is that is applicable, you can do the same type of thing based on a certain timer using tags to get the data that you're wanting and just save it as a custom search or save search or save report to get the information to show up on your dashboard. Now, let's talk about something real quick. If we obviously saw when we were creating the save search, if we don't want to use that little box to add it to our other users' homepage, how are they going to get it on their dashboard? Now, we've obviously seen we can share it with them, so they'll be able to, when they're clicking to add a stat, they'll see the specific search in their drop down here. They'll still see haven't bought in 7/21/14 if that's the case, But unfortunately, unless you have their login, you're not going to be able to add it in their behalf. You'll have to just simply provide them the instruction, simple enough, saying, go into your dashboard, click the Add Widgets button, add the custom statistics widget, and then under the third drop down, open it and select the haven't bought in 7 days, save and add, haven't bought in 14. Obviously, just give them the quick instruction of what they need to do. Nothing too fancy, especially if you've already done the work to create the save search. It really shouldn't be too difficult for them to do. So again, obviously, if you have a specific example or specific contingencies that are really going to sway and affect more of the straightforward approach that this example has shown, feel free to fill out the form below and we can get in touch. But anyway, that's at least a lot of information. I think this is obviously focused on the contact side. Again, if you preferred, even if you want to show what's my estimated total number of amount for my sales, I could go to an e-commerce report or an opportunity report if it's projected sales, and then do a one of the other drop downs. Instead of counting the total number of people on the report, is I can actually add the data from a specific column. So again, you can actually get a total number of sales that have occurred or total number of money that is projected from the possible sales up and coming. So same kind of thing, you just use reports, save them, tell it what specific column you would like it to add, and obviously there you go. If you want to do more actual mathematical processes on the data that you have, in other words, saying add these two fields together and maybe subtract this other field, then you might want to look at the math app that Success Engine has. That's again just an option for you, but if that is a need of yours, that might be a good way to approach it. So feel free, again, let us know if you have any questions. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed it and look forward to next week where we'll be going over some of the kind of golden nuggets, hidden tips and tricks that I've come across, especially with my years of working on Infusionsoft and with clients. And so feel free to tune in for that next week. But thanks again, and take care.